Hello, I'm Mr. Swift, Vice Principal at Stimpson Community School, and would like to welcome you to the Year 11 Core Information video. Over the course of this video, you will hear from staff how best to support your child with their GCSE examinations. In particular, the core subjects of English, Maths and Science. Year 11 are supported by a team of colleagues within school. Mr. Reid is the head of Year 11, supported by myself and a wonderful team of form tutors who deliver intervention in English, Maths and Science, alongside pastoral support in 2 daily registration sessions. I hope you found this video informative and encourage you to contact your child's form tutor if you have any follow-up questions. Thank you.
Just a reminder that our students, your son or daughter, is following one of the 3 qualification routes. For a selected number of students, they will achieve 2 GCSEs in combined science and an entry-level qualification. For vast majority of our students, they too will achieve 2 GCSEs in combined science. For a smaller number of students, those who chose the triple science option, students will achieve 3 GCSEs in biology, chemistry and physics. The grades for the GCSEs will range from 1 to 9, depending on their tier entry. The concepts studied in triple science are in greater depth. The subject content for GCSE science is huge. It involves learning and retaining a huge amount of knowledge, understanding that knowledge and applying it in examination conditions. We also have to teach them the skills which are performed normally during practical work. All these 3 aspects are common to all GCSE specifications. All students will sit 6 examinations with 2 papers in each of the 3 sciences. The main difference is that the triple science paper is 35 minutes longer. Students will be entered for either foundation tier, where the highest grade possible is 5, or higher tier, where students are expected to achieve at least grade 5. But we really expect these students to be aiming for grade 6 or higher. The highest grade possible here is grade 9. At school, we are supporting with students' preparation in a number of ways. They are continuing with the normal lessons and assessed through end-of-module tests and personal learning checklists. This helps to gauge their learning. We also run intervention tutor times in the morning registrations, and we have after-school sessions which we call Unit 6, which run from 3:15 to 4:15. These are organised on a 3-week rotation basis. We will be having walking-talking mocks where students will practice attempting short past paper questions very formally and then their answers shared and discussed. Online homework is set on a regular basis and use is also made of the revision guides purchased last year. We have a number of revision tools in school, ranging from paper-based knowledge organisers and materials on students' workgroups to IT-based programs and applications. Students are actively encouraged to access these on a regular basis. Your support is vital in enabling your son or daughter to achieve best grade possible. First, the basics, a place where your son or daughter can work quietly without being disturbed. If you can negotiate removal of electronic devices from their vicinity, that would be great. Mobile phones, tablets, laptops, games consoles are a great distraction during serious revision. You can also encourage and remind your son or daughter to start revising at home, as well as attending the Unit 6 sessions. You can be proactive, say around February time, by printing off past papers from the Pearson Edexcel website and encouraging them to attempt some, if not all, of the questions. If they brought the answers to school, we will mark them. Something even more basic. Please make sure they have or buy for them the stationery, the black pens, pencil, ruler, and also a scientific calculator. We expect to finish covering the specification by middle or end of March, and we begin revision straight after. We will help the students with exam techniques. In science, knowledge is power. So the ability to retain and apply facts will be crucial. We will support students to make sure that the questions are read and understood and what is it that the examiners are looking for. and where calculations are involved, with practice, we will drill the expectation that students must show solutions before arriving at the answer.
Hello, my name is John Corcoran and I'm the Head of Maths at Stimpson Community School. I'd like to spend just a few minutes talking about what we're doing this year to help support your son or daughter achieve their best in maths at Stimpson Community School in Year 11, and importantly, what you can do to help support them as well. So to begin with, if you attended the post-16 information evening, hopefully you received an envelope which contained a targeted revision book which we have provided to your son or daughter. So this book is on the levels of grade 1, 3, 5, 7 or 9. So this is dependent on how well they performed in their end of year 10 tests, so their current grade, if you like. So the book which I've provided is to be used at home, and the more you can help support them work through that book, the better. It's aimed at their current level of progress. Here's a picture of these books. I will also be available on a Thursday lunchtime if your son or daughter has any questions regarding the books, any questions within them which they're struggling with. So a surgery, if you like, on the Thursday lunchtime in my room, 3U25. So please feel free to send them towards me if there's any questions that they're struggling on within those booklets. The second big area, which in terms of which we're helping them with this year, are the Unit 6 sessions. So Unit 6 will be held every Wednesday. So they'll have a math session on a Wednesday every other week, from 3:15 to 4:15. Within those sessions, working in smaller groups, we've actually brought in some revision activities. So there's a book they're working through with 30 different revision sessions, and they'll work through one of those every session leading up to their exams. The third big area is homework. So we're providing homework each week. Most of the homework will be set on Hegarty Maths, and that will be running alongside what they're doing in class. So it'll give them the opportunity to practice the skills on their own rather than in pairs and within a group environment. Finally, the last area is through the analysis of their PPEs. So their PPEs, their pre-public exams, we used to call these the mock exams, if you like. There will be these exams held in November, the end of November this year, and then also in February time next year. So this will obviously allow us to have a look and see what level your son or daughter is currently working at, but more importantly, that also allows us to then identify areas where they need to improve, bearing in mind that these same areas will come up in the summer exams. So we develop some individualized booklets. So these are specific to your child's areas where they need to work on, and then their challenge after these mock exams, these PPEs, is to then close the gap and get better on those areas where we've identified they need to work on. So to review, the areas which we're helping your children this year, in which obviously you can provide support as well, is the targeted revision book which we gave out on the information evening. If your son or daughter wasn't at that evening, then we've then given those booklets out in class. The surgery on a Thursday lunchtime, which they can come and drop in and speak about any questions they have throughout their maths, but specific to their targeted revision books. The Unit 6 sessions, which will be held every other Wednesday afternoon from 3:15 to 4:15. The homework, weekly homework set on Hegarty Maths. In addition to that, there's some written tasks as well. And then after their PPEs, the individualised booklets, which will be printed out and given to your students to work in class, trying to close the areas. that we've identified they need to work on, and then they'll bring those booklets back home to further finish those off. Wishing you and your children all the best this year, and any questions at all from this presentation or anything as we go through this year, please feel free to drop me a line on the email address. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Martin Tingle and I'm the Head of English here at Stimpson Community School. I'd like to take you through some key information regarding the two GCSEs that we offer our Year 11 students, GCSE English Language and GCSE English Literature. GCSE English Language is comprised of two exams. Between them they cover reading and writing, fiction and non-fiction. Both papers are 1 hour and 45 minutes and require students to read and analyse given text as well as writing their own. Each of the two papers is worth 50% of the course. Literature also has two papers, although paper 2 is slightly longer at 2 hours and 15 minutes. Paper 1 covers Shakespeare, which in our case is Macbeth, and 19th century prose, which in our case is Charles Dickens's A Christmas Carol. Paper 2 covers modern text, which is The Play in Inspector Calls for us, and anthology poetry, which is a collection of 15 power and conflict poems that your students have been studying over the last 2 years. They also have the opportunity in Section C to analyse unseen poetry and apply their skills to poems that they've never seen before. Students will often ask what they can be revising in English language and English literature, and on the slide in front of you there are a number of key skills and topics that can be focused on in your revision time in order to maximise your chances of success. In English language, understanding key language and structural techniques can be vitally important in analysing text in Section A, and using them in Section B in your own writing is essential to maximise marks. Understanding language techniques such as similes and metaphors, and structural techniques such as shifts in tone, perspective and narrative voice can hugely impact your marks. Being able to change your writing for different forms and different audiences demonstrates to an examiner that you're in control of your writing, and practicing this in your own time is a good way in order to develop confidence and fluency as a writer. Also, for GCSE English Language, you can learn the structure of the exam papers. Whereas in some subjects, the exam paper changes every time, in English Language it's the same every time. And so revising exam strategy is an important technique. So knowing how many minutes you should be spending on each question, knowing which skills are going to be in which questions so that you can maximise marks is really, really important. For English literature, it's important to have a key understanding of themes, characters, plot and context in your set texts, so particularly the 3 An Inspector Calls, A Christmas Carol and Macbeth. You can also be revising the 15 poems from Power and Conflict and using your understanding of those poems to apply it to unseen poems. And you can find unseen poems on the internet or on past papers. And similarly to English language, you want to also be revising the structure of the exam papers, looking at questions and timings so that you are ensuring that you're evenly distributing your effort and making sure you're picking up marks as widely as possible. Perhaps the most important way that you can be revising for your English exams is by reading. A fluent reader will be able to identify in descriptive writing or in non-fiction writing ways in which the writer is trying to engage the reader. By identifying vocabulary that perhaps you're not familiar with and understanding it, you'll be able to incorporate that writing and that vocabulary into your own work. And a good English student is a good thief in that case. Some students will create work ahead of time before their exams, so they'll prepare lists of interesting and unusual vocabulary, or they'll sort of pre-prepare descriptions or characters and have sort of a key understanding that they will then be able to include in their own writing in the exam. GCSE English Literature is a subject that benefits from a lot of preparation. You're required to have a lot of knowledge of the text before you walk into the exam, and to then be able to demonstrate those that understanding with questions that you've not seen before. So understanding themes, character, plot and context is really, really important in these texts, particularly Christmas Carol and Inspector Calls and Macbeth. When it comes to the power and conflict poetry, being able to have a solid understanding of the poems, because you won't have them in the exam with you, you only get one, you would want to make sure that you understand some key quotes, some key ideas from each poem, and students will often do that by making revision cue cards and being able to think about how that they can compare any poem to any poem in any combination in the anthology. The English department offers fortnightly revision sessions after school on a Wednesday for both language and literature. Depending which year half your child is in, they will be coming on one week or the other. We also use Century Revision as our online learning platform, and students will be able to access this throughout the year in order to be working on their knowledge of both language and literature. We recommend revision books such as CGP or Snap Revision. A lot of our students particularly like the CGP revision guides. And there are websites and YouTube revisions such as BBC Bite Size and Mr. Bruff videos, which students find very useful because they can be listening to them while doing other things, they can refer back to them whenever it suits them, and they're much more interactive. When we get closer to the exams, particularly in June, we will be running morning revision sessions with key resources and last-minute revision strategies from about 7:40 in the morning. And we have found that our students find these very useful in terms of being able to come in and get into the right headspace before the exam, and our members of staff will circulate and speak to them about any last-minute worries or any misunderstandings and get them into the right sort of frame of mind to go into the exam and be incredibly successful. As Year 11 students, you are coming towards the end of 5 years of hard work and in some cases difficulty and setback, and it's amazing to consider how far that you've come and how in the next few months the decisions and choices you make could have an impact on the rest of your life. We in the English department are incredibly proud of how far you've come, and we want to do everything that we can to support you. If you are unsure about something, please talk to your English teacher and we can help you. We can provide you with additional resources or help you to understand things. We are here for you and we can't wait to help you get to that results day so that you get the grade that you deserve. Good luck, Year 11, and we'll see you in your English lessons.
This presentation so far has discussed the importance of the core GCSEs and how best to support your child to achieve their potential in these subjects. However, it is important to also consider here the subjects that students have opted into. Next summer, your son or daughter will be competing with Year 11 students from all across the city for school or college placements, and later for jobs or university places. The more good grades your child can attain at this level, the more competitive they will be. During our pastoral tutor sessions, some time is spent each week looking at careers options, and each student will have at least one careers appointment with a specialist during the course of the academic year. During this time, we will also be supporting students to create their own revision timetable, and we ask that you discuss this with your child and assist them in maintaining their momentum. Teenagers are less likely to be stressed if they feel prepared, but keep an eye out if your child has a tendency to overdo the revision. This can make them even more stressed. There is no set amount of time that your child should be revising because every child learns and retains information at different rates. But the idea of a revision timetable is to take larger tasks and break them down into smaller, more manageable chunks of no more than 25 minutes or so, followed by a short 5 to 10 minute active break. There is only so much a brain can assimilate in one sitting. Please ensure that your child has all the necessary resources to revise at home. A quiet, organised space, pens, pencils, a math set, calculator and paper big enough to be creative in their revision. Equally, sitting in a room surrounded by the same four walls, reading from the same textbooks isn't anyone's idea of a great day. If you are able to, take your child somewhere else to revise every now and again. This can really help. Perhaps a coffee shop with Wi-Fi or even the local park. A change of setting can be great for the brain. Your child should also explore plenty of revision techniques. Again, many of these will be discussed with them at school, such as revision clocks, mind maps and flashcards. But there are still plenty more for you to explore with your child. Anxiety is often a common reason for children to refuse to be productive. If you can resolve anxiety issues and reduce the stress they are under, you can gradually help them to build up the time spent on studying. And if your child returns from an exam saying it's all gone very badly wrong, make sure they don't dwell on it and get on with the next one. Finally, we look at 7 ways that you can help your child to absolutely smash their grade expectations at school. The first is to establish healthy daily habits. A healthy routine is vital for a child to be successful at school and in their exams. Encouraging positive daily habits helps children to break bad habits and encourages an achievement-driven mentality. Think about making those small changes, such as ensuring your child carries a bottle of water with them, or encouraging them to walk to school, as well as positive thinking. Students are some of the most sleep-deprived demographics of our population. It will probably come as no surprise that sleep deprivation in young people has been linked to lower attainment in school due to the detrimental effect it has on memory, concentration, and the ability to learn. Remember, your teenager needs 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night. Healthy eating habits are especially beneficial for students taking exams or those who are under heightened pressure. To excel, children need to endure mentally tough challenges and still maintain their positivity. Instead of limiting the use of technology, encourage ways that students can use their laptops and mobile phones to benefit their grades. There are many apps that you can download that can help your child organise their studies and block unnecessary distractions. According to the UK's Department for Education, missing the equivalent of just 1 week a year from school can mean a child is significantly less likely to achieve good GCSE grades. Remember, now more than ever, every day counts. The key to being able to offer the best support to help your child succeed is being clued up on their academic performance throughout the year. To make sure you know exactly how your child is performing, remember to attend all parents and other optional evenings. Email is also an excellent way to keep in touch with teachers who have busy schedules. There are many studies that show the positive relationship between extracurricular activities and academic performance. They all conclusively show that students who participate in after-school activities achieve higher grades, aspirations, and positive feelings towards the environment. In Year 11, the most important after-school activity is the Unit 6 revision session. These cover key aspects of last year's curriculum and other key concepts, as well as examination techniques. I hope you found our presentation useful. Please don't hesitate to contact us if we can be of any further assistance.